another episode of Film Focus with me, Fred Black.
Anthony Squire.
And yes, today we got 2 more films and 5 more trailers, but all released in the cinemas very soon. And I think we'll start off. Which one do you want to get out of the way first? I mean,
Alan Partridge.
Alan Partridge. Yeah, we have to get the bad films out of the way first. Like the thing is, we've had quite a good run of films this week. For quite a good run of films up to this week. You know,
Alan Partridge. It's more for fans of the TV show.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, and it's been rammed down everyone's throats enough over the past few weeks with the advertising campaign. If you don't know, Alan Partridge was a '90s television show in good old Britain.
Me knowing you.
Yeah, well, is Steve Coogan's the guy who does it, and he played the same character over just a series of different shows. Yeah. All of which I've never seen. All of which I've never seen.
None of the reruns?
No, I've just never kind of...
It's a good show. To be honest, this film, it just felt like a long TV episode. It moved at a good pace. Some of the jokes weren't that funny, some jokes were. The basic plot is that... Oh, what's his name? Oh, Cole Meany. Is that his name, Cole Meany?
I don't know. Alan Partridge gets this radio DJ sacked because he's worried that he's going to get sacked because of it, or instead of him.
Because a new sort of corporation takes over the radio station,
and then the DJ who's got sacked goes in and starts a hostage situation, and takes Alan. Well, he doesn't take Alan hostage. Alan is sent in as a negotiator, and then hilarity ensues as Alan becomes himself. And the thing is, I didn't watch the TV series because I never thought it looked that funny. And to be honest, this film just wasn't that funny for me. A few jokes worked, but...
What, was the pace not good enough for you?
No, it was all good. The story moved along really well and everything, but the jokes just, everyone else in the cinema was laughing. I was sat there just going... Yeah. But the thing is, it's not if everyone else is laughing, that means I shouldn't laugh, because, I went to see The World's End, and I loved that. I was laughing my ass off, as were the rest of the cinema.
Yeah.
But for some reason, just the jokes weren't sticking with me, and I was just like, yeah, okay, that's not really funny. It might, I don't know, it might be because Alan Partridge, the character, just doesn't change. He's a bastard, and he stays a bastard.
I think it's part of supposedly part of the appeal of him. I mean, like I said, I think this film is more for fans of the TV show. I mean, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought some good jokes in there. Overall, it moved at a good pace. It was entertaining to watch once, maybe even twice.
Oh, no. I wouldn't watch it twice. I mean, I gave it a 2 out of 10. I thought it was... a 2 out of 10. I thought it was... And... Yeah, I can hear people saying, this is going to be because it was, it's been giving rave reviews in the press, and, it's been,
Yeah, but we said this before, how the media, the press, whenever a film comes out, 5 out of 5, or, this film is great, it was directed by this person, so it must be a great film.
Are you trying to hark back to Only God Forgives now? Because that was hyped up, and, by that same director, and you hated that.
Yeah, because that...
But yeah, I can get that.
That was last week's show.
That was last week's show, yeah. And yet we still keep coming back to all these things. Anyway.
If I was going to hype up a film, it would be Sharknado, but mentioned that last episode.
Yeah, we did that last week. Okay, let's please not go back to that. But yeah, for a comedy, I was not laughing nearly as much as I should be.
What, did you find it too predictable, the jokes? Or?
Some of them too predictable, some of them were just kind of okay, now, you're just being mean. And whilst I have laughed at characters, being mean to others, I mean, I find shows like Archer and South Park funny, and they're full of characters that are mean to other people. There is something about those shows that makes that funny, mainly because, I think the other characters are mean back. They kind of have this kind of heated debate.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
but in Alan Partridge, it's just him.
Yeah.
It's just him being an arsehole. No one else really kind of stands up and says, you're being a bit of a dick. They all just kind of sit back and go, oh, and get really hurt and offended. And I think that's probably the main thing. It just didn't stick well for me, and that was just okay, well, I don't really want to root for Alan anymore. Plus the way it just kind of switches between, like, Alan's, it switches it up a bit. Alan's a hostage now. He's not. He's escaped now. He's back in the building, and now,
I thought the film was trying to give a sort of moral message towards the end of the show. But I see where you're coming from, because Alan is on the verge of learning the whole thing of,
especially with his secretary, or his live-in secretary or something like that, which obviously, like, that just seems weird, but obviously it seems like something that makes more sense if you've seen the show, the kind of relationship them two have. Can't remember what the woman's name was, the secretary, but she's kind of like always stuck by Alan, from what I gather. She's stuck by Alan through thick and thin, and now she's kind of gradually realising that she doesn't have to, and that she can do things for herself.
Well, to be honest, I thought everyone just went back into the roles they were at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Towards the end of it. I mean, I still thought
it
it was good.
It kind of seems like we're spoiling the film a little bit, but, like, it's when a film just kind of reverts back to how it was at the start, it's just the characters don't learn anything, they don't change at all, but...
I think this film is worth seeing at least once.
For curiosity's sake alone, yeah, and if you've seen the TV show, then you'll possibly get a bigger laugh out of it than I did.
I mean, I think it moves at a good pace. Some jokes are not so funny, other jokes are funny. I'm just repeating myself now, it felt like a long TV episode.
Yeah, but I chuckled at a few jokes, but that was it. I just kind of like, that's kind of funny. But it wasn't like
it, did you?
It wasn't something like, there was a few little jokes that were just like, okay, that's quite funny, but... It's nothing like The World's End, where for an entire 90 minutes I'm laughing at least once every 5-10 minutes.
Quite a dark film.
Yeah, but it's still funny. It was still funny, and there's enough different types of funny stuff in it for everyone. Whereas Alan Partridge, it seems just more kind of narrowly aimed at the fans, and that's it. So for that reason, 2 out of 10. I did not like that.
6.
So yeah,
I think that takes us onto the trailers.
It does take us onto the trailers. Which one do you want to do first? You've got 5 of them now, and...
Good Ol Freda.
Good Ol Freda. Yeah, this one looked quite interesting. I'm actually surprised you picked this one, because when we kind of watched it, you were just like, it's all right. And then it was... Because, it was an all right trailer, but...
Basically, the documentary about the secretary for the Beatles.
Yeah, it looks like a very kind of big insight into how they lived and how they were as people. That's how the kind of...
Looks like it's going to be insightful, there's going to be humour in there, a bit of seriousness. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Plus you get the music of the Beatles, which is always fun to listen to, let's be honest. I know my brother... I'm kind of float this film to my brother, because he's a big Beatles fan, so I'll float this film that way again. He'll definitely watch it, yeah. But yeah, it's a different... It's always good when you get these films that take a kind of different look at, like, the big bands, because you always get the obvious documentary where it's like, we look at life through the band's eyes and all that sort of stuff, or this famous person.
I mean, I hope it doesn't get too predictable. Always documentaries.
Well, it's a documentary, so it's following a kind of linear path with, like, history and all that.
But hopefully it'll be more original than just being another run-of-the-mill documentary.
Well, there's the thing, like, documentaries can kind of go either way. They can kind of just be like kind of straight run-of-the-mill stuff, or they can be completely groundbreaking and just like amazing films to watch.
Yeah.
And this one looks to be on the other side, not completely groundbreaking, but it's certainly going to be interesting and funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, good Ol Freda. Definitely.
Which one do you want to talk about?
Which one do I want to talk about? Let's just go down the list. Drew, the man behind the poster.
Oh,
which...
Yeah. Basically the bloke who does the film posters, for example, Back to the Future, Star Wars, Blade Runner.
Yeah, all those really kind of intricately hand-drawn and painted posters, iconic posters, like all the Indiana Jones posters. He's done them. Like they're even so iconic.
Bold
you put them
powerful.
they put them on the front of the DVD boxes now because they're just such iconic images of the film, and it's it's kind of a talking heads documentary about, like, you got George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, all these big directors talking about how he's kind of just influenced. He's probably one of the most influential, like, kind of artists in film poster history, and they're right, because his posters are so kind of
powerful.
They are insanely good. But yeah, it's just again a documentary taking a different look at filmmaking, like a kind of somewhat forgotten kind of part of filmmaking. People see a film poster and they're just like, oh, well, that film looks good. and somehow they don't kind of look at the poster and how it's been kind of set up. But his posters are like so intricately detailed that you can't help but just stop.
They're bold, powerful. I mean, they showed the Masters of the Universe one on there, and that was a big bold.
Oh, but they had that Thomas Jane. They had Thomas Jane say like, "Look, it's a poster for He-Man. I've never seen He-Man. I probably never will see He-Man, but I want to see this film because of the poster." It's just like it's brilliant. And yeah, like even though like the Star Wars films most of them are complete rubbish. Like the posters for them are...
Yeah, I mean the Phantom Menace, it was a pants film.
But you can't deny that the posters are works of art. They're brilliant works of art. And this film seems to, kind of a good insight into the man who draws.
It's kind of a good documentary.
Yeah. And moving on... I'm surprised you chose this one. It's quite a funny...
Which one?
A child of divorce.
Basically,
is it
A.C.O.D.
Adult child of divorce.
But it's comedy, basically a bloke dealing with his parents' divorce.
Yeah, like some grown man who kind of... I don't know if they divorced like during the film or if they've been divorced.
I get the
for
feeling
a while.
they've already been divorced for a while because I got the feeling his dad was remarrying.
Oh yeah, they said like his third
The woman
wife
he was marrying was like 1 year older than him.
Then the guy this film's about. But yeah, it's a weird... It seems like one of those kind of really quirky comedies. It's got a lot of big names in it. Yeah, like it was...
Looks like it could be a good laugh.
Yeah, well, yeah, we need a good laugh after this week. There's not been a lot of laughs to be had, really. But yeah, like, you get all these things like... It was doing, like, statistics at the start of the film, and there's, like, psychiatry bits in it. But yeah, like, there's not really a lot to say about it. It just looked like a good trailer. I mean,
I'm looking forward to this one. Looks like a good comedy,
Yeah, and it's on Empire. Like most of the thing, like people go and say, like, "Oh, where do you find your trailers?" And some of them ones that we have on Empire, they're not able to find. But yeah, if you look on Empire.com or EmpireOnline.com is the actual web address, and it's the website of Empire magazine, which is one of the biggest film magazines over here. That's where we find most of them, and then Apple.com/trailers for all the others. So yeah, if you've actually... We should probably put that... I'll probably put that in the description or something of the video, like, so people can go to it. But yeah, that's where we found that one. And also where we found The Wind Rises.
Oh, so it's the Japanese animation one set.
This was from Studio Ghibli. How do you not know Studio Ghibli? Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke.
Oh, it's
My Neighbor Totoro. Oh, I probably said that wrong. I've got quite a few friends who love My Neighbor Totoro, and I've probably said that wrong. I'm sorry.
The important thing is this trailer looks good.
It looks so freaking weird.
I mean, 1 minute from the train, then suddenly
there's like earthquakes and like explosions, and
then it's set 1920s depression, Japan, and I'm curious about it. I want to see it when it comes out.
Yeah, but Studio Ghibli, in my eyes,
I love the background music.
Yeah, the background music was good, but the animation, Studio Ghibli in my mind have taken over from Disney. Like Disney, with their 2D animation, like they used to reign supreme. They had the Jungle Book and Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, and all these great classics. I think it's gone down there. And since then, since about Aladdin, I think is the last one I actually really enjoyed, and then it's kind of gone. Nah.
What, the whole 3D thing?
Well, yeah, because they've gone into the whole 3D films and computer animation, and Pixar. Yeah. Pixar just do that. Don't buy it. I mean, we've got to watch that. Planes. That's a pure Disney film. That's not Pixar. And that comes out like a couple of... That's already out, but we've got to watch it in like a couple of weeks.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
I have my doubts.
What's the worst that can happen?
But yes, like Studio Ghibli have taken over in the kind of thing of 2D animation, and you need to watch some Studio Ghibli if you haven't. Like Howl's Moving Castle, especially, is probably like their signature piece.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one or not. It doesn't stick in my mind.
No, it should do. Like once you've seen it, it's so kind of quirky and weird, but it's also beautiful. Like it's drawn superbly, and it's all because of a guy called Hayao Miyazaki.
Who?
Hayao Miyazaki, who is he's pretty much the founder of Studio Ghibli, and he's the main guy who kind of started the company up and made the first few films they did. And then he stepped back for a bit, and they made a couple of others. Like I think his son made a couple, or his brother made a couple of films. But now he's back, and this one is his next film. I don't know if it's going to be his last one as director. I really hope it
is
his
last one.
Oh, he's getting on a bit. He's getting older.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know his exact age, Anthony.
Is he in his 50s? Or is he in his 50s or his 60s?
Well, the thing is, he stepped back because he just think I'll let other people have like creative, create a creative role in it. And he said like, yeah, but he said like he was just getting too old to kind of keep doing all these films like year after year. So he he'd just pop in every now and then and do a film, but he let more people in the company tries their hands at films. But yeah, I'm really excited for this film. I mean, again, that film we found on Empire website, so go check that out. If you're a Studio Ghibli fan, especially, then yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I think we need to see that when it comes out. That will definitely be.
I'm curious about it.
And I'm just going to go lend him all of the Studio Ghibli collection.
Moving on.
Yeah. The last trailer we have is Don John. Don John with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, bloke's girlfriend catches him watching porn.
Yeah, the plot is like this kind of bachelor kind of guy, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who writes and directs it as well. Kind of has a kind of obsession with porn, is what I've gathered from the plot synopsis and all that sort of stuff.
It looks like a good comedy. Well,
yeah, I mean, I'll watch Joseph Gordon-Levitt in anything. He's always good to watch. I mean, he was good in the Batman films, and he was.
Of course, didn't he become Robin or something?
He does become Robin. Yeah. Like, spoiler alert!
The film came out last year.
Yeah, if you haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises by now, okay, you're not going to see it really. But yeah,
it wasn't as good as The Dark Knight.
He did that cancer comedy 50-50.
That was good
with Seth Rogen, and he. Did you see the film Premium Rush as well with him on a bicycle? Him as a kind of courier through New York on a bicycle. Okay, you need to watch that as well. That's very good. But yeah, he's always good fun to watch, and this film looks kind of like light-hearted, kind of along the lines of Hitch and like the kind of rom-coms that try to kind of throw away the rom-com rules.
It looks like it's got. There were some good jokes in the trailer, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Not much else you can say about it, really, is there? There's not much else we can all say. And
but that's one side.
Yeah, that wraps up our trailers for this week. And now we move on to the decidedly better film of this week.
Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters.
Yes. Now, have you seen the first one?
No.
You did. See, that's interesting, because Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief came out a few years ago, and it was kind of a Harry Potter with Greek mythology.
Was it good?
I thought it was. I thought it was exactly what Harry Potter fans needed, because by that time Harry Potter was getting to its climax, its last film, and this new thing came along. But yeah, it was very. It's the same guy, Chris Columbus, who did the first few Harry Potter films as well, so he knows what he's doing with that sort of material. And I'm kind of a sucker for Greek mythology anyway. I'll watch him play anything that's got Greek mythology in it.
The plot. Basically, in order to save their safe haven, Percy Jackson and some of his mates go on a quest.
Some of his mates, I love that.
They go on a quest to the Sea of Monsters for what do you call it?
The Golden Fleece.
The Golden Fleece. The film moves at a really good pace. There's good humour in there, a bit of seriousness. It's a good, fun family film. I give this 8 out of 10.
8 out. Well, yeah. So you're giving it quite a high score there. I mean.
I thought it would be.
For Harry Potter fans who are looking for something to kind of get, the whole kind of teen who's a bit lost, this is a good kind of antidote for it. As I say, I like the Greek mythology aspects to it. I did find they cramped a bit too much into it, like there were too many kind of monsters and kind of like hints at other legends and stuff like that.
I liked it. There were some good twists in there. It moved at a good pace. It was all balanced out nicely.
Yeah, I like the action scenes in it and the computer graphics in it. The computer animation in it was really well done.
We saw the 2D version, by the way.
Oh yeah. Although I can see, if you saw this in 3D, there are quite a few bits where things will pop out the screen at you and all that sort of stuff.
Stick to the 2D version.
Yeah, which I know we have this kind of thing about 3D. And
come on, 3D.
It's not dying down anytime soon, though. This is the problem. I don't know why, but it's not. It's been going for years now, but yeah, the film, it's the good antidote for Harry Potter people who are waiting for something else. Unfortunately, the media, the critics have slammed it. They've completely panned this film.
Why?
I don't know.
It wasn't over. It wasn't.
It wasn't like,
the
you know,
violence
we've
was-
seen far worse films. Like, there have been like shockingly bad films that have been released to public, like Twilight. Let's just go for Twilight as a general example. I mean, you know, the
Yes.
acting is a bit ropey at times, I guess, but the action is well choreographed.
I liked it though. The acting wasn't perfect. It had that extra sense of realism to it. And
An extra sense of realism to a film about Greek demigods and
Yeah, but it wasn't
of
overly,
course,
it
yeah,
wasn't overly a fantasy world.
Mm.
It had that sense of, it was a mixture of the real world thrown in.
Yeah,
And it moved at a really good pace. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I only gave it a 5 out of 10. I think I might have been just a little bit harsh because,
Why?
I don't know, like, it's a good family kind of blockbuster and you can kind of sit there, switch your brain off and everything like that, but there was nothing in it to wow me. Like, nothing in it just to kind of
What were
like...
you looking for?
Well, I like the action films and all that sort of stuff. There was nothing in it to, like, you know... It's no Pacific Rim, let's be honest. There was nothing in it to kind of make me go, like, ooh, wow, this, you know, it's going to be highly memorable in the months to come, is it?
But you won't forget it.
No, I won't forget. As I kind of still think back to The Lightning Thief, the first one they did. Which actually you should see. If you liked this one, you'll definitely enjoy The Lightning Thief.
To be honest, this one surprised me. I thought it was just going to be another kiddie film, but it was actually enjoyable. It was a proper family film.
Yes, indeed. Like I again, like it was just a little bit crowded. There's too many kind of like. I think they were trying to kind of cram as much as they could into it because you had Kronos and the Titans. They didn't have any of the gods in it though. The first one has like the actual gods like Zeus and Poseidon and Hades. They actually.
I liked that though. The fact the gods did. They really did stay in the background.
Yeah, the first one does have the gods in it. I mean, Sean Bean plays Zeus, which is epic casting.
Good choice.
So I was kind of waiting for something like Sean Bean just pops up at one point, or you know, I can't remember who played Poseidon, which is who's Percy Jackson's father. But yeah, I like the stuff they did with they did the stuff with the Cyclops. They did that quite well.
That was good.
You know, they have the bull that kind of charges in, like the first action scene they have is that bull, which is really quite good.
And it threw in a couple of moral messages.
Yeah, there's all that sort of stuff.
I just found that funny.
Love your family. It's the brother moral message, wasn't it? Like with the
and winning isn't everything.
Oh, of course it's not. Yes, I was starting to think kind of like not like that character because you know just because she's the god of war's daughter doesn't mean she has to be a complete bastard.
Bitch.
Yeah, doesn't mean she has to be a complete bitch. I mean, and then they kind of just switch her around in the last few minutes and
yeah, everyone. I mean, I love that sort of cheesiness towards the end where everyone's smiling to the camera.
Yeah, I did.
Although I won't ruin it for you, but
yeah, but I do like the CGE, the computer animation really kind of sold it for me. Like, if you want like the big spectacle of like, you know, Greek gods and the Titan, I think they did Kronos really well. Because the whole plot.
I think he had a really good voice. That sort of deep booming. Oh, I can't do it.
He's like, he wants to try it, but no. Yeah, it was. I probably was a bit harsh in giving it a 5, but I think I'm going to stick with it. Ooh, very harsh. But yeah, like, I think it's definitely the better film of this week. Like, I can't see how people think that Alan Partridge was funny. To be honest, I laughed more at Percy Jackson than I did at Alan Partridge.
Well, it's like I said earlier. I think the Alan Partridge film is more for the Alan Partridge fans. And we must sound like a record on repeat now. But
well, we kind of do. It's a half-hour show. We got here. You talk with anyone about films for half an hour, you're bound to kind of repeat yourself and all that sort of stuff. But still, we've got this format, so we will stick with it.
I think that brings us to the end of the show.
We could bring it to the end of the show, or we could talk briefly about next week's films that we're going to have a look at.
Kick-Ass 2, I've already seen it. I want to talk about it, but it'll ruin next week's show.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it yet, because you saw it for your birthday, didn't you? It was his birthday! Hey, it's his birthday boy!
Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, you saw Kick-Ass 2 already. I liked the first one, and yeah, I'm kind of excited.
One thing I will say is, Jim Carrey did a really good job in Kick-Ass 2.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I haven't seen him play that kind of character before. The closest, I think, was the Riddler.
Oh, well, okay, that's not really selling it, because that was wrapped up in a really shit film.
Yeah, but in Batman Forever, Jim Carrey did do a good job as the Riddler. He was the better of the two villains.
Yeah, he was kind of just playing Jim Carrey, though, but is what he usually does. I mean,
but this one, he's got a proper sort of nutty, overeager. It's really good.
Yeah, and you want to talk about it, right? But yeah, I'm excited to see it, and I'll probably be seeing it either tomorrow or Wednesday. The other film was The Lone Ranger. Yeah, again,
I'm in two minds about this.
Well, yeah, I can't help but look at like Metacritic. I look at Metacritic a lot and see like what films are getting, and usually it's more American publications that post to it. But again, The Lone Ranger is getting panned. It is completely getting panned, and I don't understand it. Like,
well, sometimes the critics can be wrong. I remember when Serenity came out, and that was slated, but when I watched it, I loved it.
Oh yeah, I love Serenity as well. It's great fun. But yeah, like
the brilliant line of "I know I'm evil.
Yeah,
I have no illusions."
Well, the thing is with the Lone Ranger, it's the guys who did Pirates of the Caribbean, so it's it's going to be big,
hit
loud,
or miss.
Like, well, yeah, the last Pirates of the Caribbean film they did
pants.
Before it was complete pants. Yeah. So hopefully they don't take that film and like kind of make the Lone Ranger out of it.
Well, hopefully they've learned from they've learned a lesson.
Yeah. But yeah, Johnny Depp and the fantastically named Armie Hammer, which you could not ask for a better name, really, could you? Armie Hammer.
Listen, what's your name? Hammer. Armie Hammer.
How do you not love that name? It's a brilliant name. And yeah, those are the two films we're going to be seeing next week, or this week. But we got loads of films lined up, and there's like Two Guns, Planes. Pain and Gain comes out.
You sounded like you were dreading Planes earlier.
Well, we've got loads of films coming out. I mean, I'm not looking forward to some of them, Planes being one of them, but, we still got to see them. We have to do the right thing and see the films, so that other people don't see them.
Don't worry, we won't let you down.
And on that note, we will say farewell.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. See you later, guys. That was good fun.